I'm not sure if our members are hearing us. Give me 1 second here. I will test it.
Try it now.
Yeah, they can't hear us at all. You guys try refreshing. I guess I can't say that if you can't hear us. It doesn't make any sense, does it?
I forgot to unmute you. I unmuted you.
Are we good?
Yes.
Hey
Yep.
guys, you can hear us now.
Welcome.
Welcome. Sorry about that.
Well, we had to clear our voices.
We were just clearing our voices. we were just preparing. We were just preparing for you.
Yeah.
We were doing our vocal warm-ups.
Yeah. There.
Now you can hear us.
Okay, so yeah, sorry. What was I saying before this? Oh, so we got a new keyboard. This is really sweet. New keyboard, Yamaha MX88. We're also in the other studio, so we got drums and stuff around us too.
You can't see the drums, but you can kind of see
some cymbals.
The cymbals.
And we're doing a lesson on, yeah, thanks to Yamaha for giving us this instrument, as well as some more that we're going to do some lessons on too.
Jordan, people are loving your shirt. You're getting some shirt
yeah,
love.
we got some. Yeah, we got a cool shoot coming up this afternoon that we'll tell you about. Well, we're just gonna save it because we're gonna show it to you. But isn't it sweet? My grandma made this for me.
No, he lies. He says that all the time about stuff, and it's not true.
She was up all night knitting.
It's not true.
This is actually a knit.
So.
A silk. Can you knit silk?
Yeah.
You can knit anything. You can knit spaghetti if you wanted to. Knitting isn't about the fiber.
I'm glad you're
it's
so
about
expert
the
on
process.
knitting, Jordan. Okay,
about the process.
On that note, can you tell me a little bit about chords?
Yes. So this lesson is on building complex chords in a more intuitive way. It's one thing that, you know, like sometimes you'll see a piano player, you know, they'll be playing all these.
You do it all the time.
Yeah.
Jordan, you're always playing chords. I'm like, what are you playing?
Yeah. And it can be really mystifying to just look at, you know, what's happening and kind of try to like piece it all together. So this is a lesson on how to sort of section your brain and your hands off so that you can play almost like in two parallel worlds that overlap really well together.
Wow.
Yeah. So the first way that I'm going to demonstrate this idea is with minor 7 chord.
So first of all, for us minor 7 challenged folks.
Yeah. Do you want me
what
to
is a
spell it
minor
out here?
7 chord? How do we build one?
So this is an A minor 7 chord.
So we got an A minor here.
A minor triad.
Oh, this is the over on top of chord.
Mm-hmm. The minor 7 chord is the over on top of chord, and I'll explain what that means.
Yes, yes.
Yeah. So if you look at this triad here, so that's an A minor triad. And then if you look at the top 3 notes, so this is actually a C major triad.
So it's like the relative major and minor merged.
It's a relative minor major merge. And so that's the case with all your minor 7s. They have they have the sound of both the minor chord and the major chord in it. And it, you know, works with the relative minor-major relationship.
Is that a minor 7?
That's a minor 7 too. So you have an A major chord, and then you have an F sharp minor chord.
So a really good way to practice that would be to play the major with the 5, the 3, and the 2, because that sets you up to play the minor bottom, the 1, the 2, and the 3.
That's right. So if you're wanting to build yourself into that world where you're just playing your, you know, your minor 7 chords with one hand, that's the way to do it. You can put your root in the bass.
Cool. So that's just like straight up minor 7 chord with a normal bass.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that's a simple chord to work with, but if you want to just kind of experiment with the piano and just see what you can make with it.
How would I do that?
Well, consider your left, just try this at home. Put your left hand in the minor 7 world.
Folks, please do try this at home.
Give it a shot.
Just like that?
Yeah. So.
Okay, what are we doing?
Yeah.
You're my way.
And then we'll switch spots in a minute here.
For my turn.
And then the right hand is going to play it's basically the same shape. Like if you just look at this as a claw shape, we're gonna just start this skip pattern. So we're skipping a key. So here's our A minor 7. And now start on C, play a C major triad, and then the 7th note.
What is this that we're doing?
This is an A major, or this is a C major 7 chord here.
Oh, so we're just playing more, we went to from a minor 7 to a major 7.
That's right, but
Why?
look.
Why do we do that?
If you combine them both together, you get a really cool.
Oh, they fit.
They fit right together. They're kind of like.
Also mergy.
They're sort of mergy. They kind of fit together almost like how, yeah, because we do have a
really,
kind of thing.
We're really coordinated today.
Yeah.
It's astounding.
Yeah, we should do theme days more often. Okay, so a way to improvise with this kind of mentality and a way to build a hand independence like you wouldn't believe, because there's also a mental hand independence. So how does that work?
What?
Mental hand independence. That sounds kind of cool. So here's a great exercise that you can do. Pulse your left hand in that A minor 7. You'll get your turn soon.
We're just airplane.
It's coming up.
Air piano.
Okay, so your left hand is going to be in the minor world. So your left hand's in A minor world. And as we know, the relative major-minor relationship between A and C is that A is the minor and C is the major. So that means you can put your right hand in the C major world, and everything is going to kind of harmonize with each other. It's going to be literally in harmony, right? So you can experiment with.
You're playing with the major 7 in the right.
I'm playing with the major 7 in the right hand, so I'm using that same shape.
Okay.
Even just look at the chordy there. It's like this. They have the same pattern, right?
Oh, guys, look at the red. Smoosh them both down. Look at the red on your screen. The red parts of the piano, if you can. Are those highlighting for you?
So sometimes when I'm improvising and I'm wanting to write music, I'll just start myself off at this mentality where I have my minor chord in the bass, and or not even my minor chord in the bass, my minor like world in the bass, and my major world in the right hand.
Minor 7, major 7, but what connects them is that they're relative to each other. So this is where music theory becomes very handy.
Yeah.
So there you just moving between
Just a step up, so
steps.
up a full tone. So this is just using my minor 7 in the left and my major in the right, and I can kind of shift up and transpose. So this is why you want to know all your chords and all your different inversions, because you can start, using just what are basically just simple exercises that you always are practicing, but you can use them to like begin like something that's going to inspire a jam, right?
Very soothing. What are you playing there?
So now
How do you know the notes?
I'm in D major. So here's my relative minor. I'm in B minor here.
Okay.
My left hand is always going to be in the minor world, and my right's always going to be in the major. So I went from C. So I'm just in the white key land.
Okay.
And then I'm going to move up to my D major world. So that means I have 2 black keys now. I have an F sharp and a C sharp.
Oh, the circle of fifths is talking to us.
Yeah. So and we can keep on going. Let's try D minor in the left hand and F major in the right. So here's my relative minor world. Here's my
Major town.
major world. And I have B flat. Gotta remember that I have B flat. So, yeah. Making complex chords usually starts off with sort of taking 2 simple shapes and mashing them together.
It's all about the mash.
It's all about that mash. And then once you get familiar with, like start off playing every note of the chord, like what we were doing. So every note of your A minor 7, every note of your C major 7, because that will give you an idea of like what, excuse me, yeah, what's possible, what every note.
It becomes your compass.
It becomes your whole compass. It's like I can't think of an analogy right now, but it's like when you have the whole like set in front of you, the whole you know, like Lego set in front of you, and now you know, like, okay, so these are all the pieces, these are how they connect. Now you can pair them back and see if you can make some cool music.
Now now take away 5 pieces, and can you still build this?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Well, you're gonna build something else. How does building even work at that point?
Now,
right?
before we go into builder mode here.
Yeah.
Can you invert an A minor 7?
Oh yeah, totally. That's a great question. So
because C, E, G, A is C6.
Right. Clement, I see your question.
I meant to present us with an issue.
Well, it is an issue, and it's something that, the musical science world is still this is a controversial subject. No, there is an answer. So it all has to do with the root note. So your root note, your bottom note, and your bass, that's what kind of dictates the emotional characteristic of your chords, right?
Okay.
So if I played it like this, you know, I have the A minor 7 inverted as written there, C, right. E, J, G, and A. And yeah, if I think of this as my bottom note, and if I give myself a big old C in the bass, then it sounds pretty C major, right? It sounds like C major with this additional 6 color. And that's a totally different kind of style of jam, right?
It's all how you interpret it, I guess, eh?
Yeah, but listen to this. I'm gonna move myself down to the A minor bass, and it's gonna sound totally. Now it's same chords happening in the right hand, but now we consider this an A minor because we're kind of grounded in that A minor sound down here. So that's why you get when you listen to you know, like really good jazz music or something, the piano player might not be, like he'll be playing all these chords and they're supposed to be like a, you know, 7th chord or something, but he might only be playing like 2 notes himself because he's listening to, what you got going on there? How's your ears doing?
They're not working.
You got it, you're hitting the eject button on them.
They're just, yeah.
They're tough.
You guys, you have no idea.
Yeah.
Unless you've used these before, in which case,
I mean, most of us have used earbuds before, but we sympathize.
You know what? These are a different kind of earbud. They're not
tough.
buds. They're not buds at all.
The thing that hung Lisa up on them was the L and R on each side, which, as you may have guessed, stands for left and right, which is a sticking point for some people. Okay, so yeah, if you have your bass clef notes, those are going to affect the sound of the kind of emotion of the chord. What was I going to say? There was something. Oh, shoot! I was talking about jazz, right? So a jazz musician might only play certain elements of the chord and have like the root note handled by the bass player, right? And that's going to they're going to collectively make the whole chord together, rather than every instrument handling each note, right? Mm-hmm. Want some of my coffee?
Maybe. Thanks.
Okay, so this is something that I like to use a lot with improvising. Now, let's see here.
It's the oats.
It's the oats.
I was eating oatmeal.
Oatmeal.
Okay, so
rough cut oats.
It was rough cut oats. Thank you. So we're working on kind of what's happening basically when you split a chord up or you're taking some notes out of what is in the equation.
Yeah.
So how does that look if, like, is there certain notes that are better to pull out of the chord to make cool sounds?
Yeah.
Like, is there a rule for that?
Totally. So, for instance, a lot of times, I'll go into my C major world, I don't need that 5th note a lot of the time.
So why not?
The 5th note kind of, it's like it beefs up the sound of the chord and it kind of gives it a bit more framing.
Okay.
but it's not a huge amount of what gives the chord its color or its emotion. That's why when you play just an open fifth, it sounds, you know.
Some say love, it is a river.
That's right. Kind of sounds sort of open.
Sing with me, friends. Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
But you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the open fifths sound spacious because we don't have those thirds in them. Therefore, we don't necessarily need that fifth in order to get the emotion, right?
Oh, because the fifth is not the note that colors the chord.
That's right. So,
Wise words.
Yeah.
I like this perspective.
but shots fired. Well, I feel a little bad now because you're kind of struggling with the cough in there.
I'm just struggling with being a person.
No.
My
You're doing great.
earbuds.
Earbuds and breathing.
My brain.
Just two challenging little moments.
Life is hard.
Okay, so yeah, now this is really just like a springboard for me. Honestly, I do this kind of thing for songwriting. Like I might start off in this world, and then I'll maybe just stay on A minor, and then I'll experiment with what the different sounds could make in the right hand, right?
Okay. So really what this is about is sparking curiosity. And I think if we can feel safe enough to be curious while we're playing,
Yeah,
we can come up with some pretty amazing stuff.
that's right. And you can also think about, you know, just step really far back and have a good look at your piano and think about, like, it was actually designed to almost have you like come upon these little moments where you go, oh man, maybe I'll try playing it like that. Like, there's a reason why chords sound good when you skip a note in between, right?
Shape.
Yeah, there's sort of natural shapes that your hand will just kind of find
Okay.
if you are open to them. And, you know, generally speaking, it's always sort of just a safe bet from like just a visual pattern perspective to have your, you know, what's happening in your right hand and then play F instead of A there.
Ooh.
So you can.
We just became ominous.
Yeah, it gave it a new thing. And all we're doing, here.
That's playing Phantom of the Opera.
So just moving up thirds. You know, chords are all built from thirds.
What if they're a seventh? What's the seventh the third of?
Seventh, minor seven.
Oh darn it, he wins again.
Yeah, third is a really important number in building chords. And if you want to build them intuitively, you can just sort of think in thirds. And
This is a true story.
yeah, you can think in thirds.
Think in thirds.
Think in thirds, or even just think in like skip notes, as you call them, because that's a really
I do call them
visual.
skip notes.
That's a really visual.
Or jumps.
Skip or jumps, because that's a really visual. What am I trying to say here?
Well, you can visualize jumping.
That's right.
It helps you to create an awareness of the space.
Yeah. So another thing that you can do to familiarize yourself with kind of how things jump is play them broken.
Oh yeah, broken chords are the bomb for that.
So this is just minor in the left hand, major in the right hand.
So if you get comfortable with the broken chords, you'll begin to become comfortable with expanding. So what if you were to play this in an arpeggio style? Okay, and then what if you were to expand that over 2 octaves?
Okay.
Sorry. Okay, and now maybe Jordan will decide to eliminate a note or 2. You can go back to 1 octave so you don't hate me forever.
Yeah.
There we go. So now it's different. You know,
And then
this,
you can start. All of a sudden, you have like melody idea, right?
and that's where the curiosity kicks in.
Yeah.
What would it sound like if I moved here? What would it sound like if I moved there?
Yeah.
And I think as people, we're really miraculous in that we will avoid things that we don't like. So the benefit to being curious and exploring is if you play a bad sound, chances are you're not going to play it again. Or you may have find yourself avoiding that.
Yeah.
So it's like you have to create errors for yourself so you can learn what you don't like.
Yeah.
Wise words.
That's true.
Do you ever just embrace the weird shape your hands make on the keyboard and then deconstruct the chords they make?
Abs-
Oh yeah,
yeah.
I do this all the time. It's a game I like to play with Jordan. Jordan, what have I made? What is it?
Well, I don't know. Yeah, what have you made? So that's a major minor 7 that you got there.
See?
So, and again, you just break it down. You always think about what your sort of initial stack of notes are. So usually when we do that, when we just kind of take our hand and make a shape, look for the moment, or look for a few shapes that sort of sound.
Can we try to find the third?
Yeah. So look at you're playing all the notes of the A minor 7 there. You're playing A, you're playing C, and you're playing E.
So there's my A, C, E.
Plus then you did like D and G, right?
Yeah.
So you can. There's a few kind of angles.
Yeah, you know what I find, guys, is if I create a wicked chord, which is often by accident, and I look at that chord and then I think, okay, can I play this an octave up? It's really tricky. So if you want to solidify, like, yeah, I always find it's like, once I find this shape, I'm like, oh, that's lovely.
Right.
Then to pick my hand up and have to recreate it over here, even though they're the same notes, this could be a unique Lisa thing. Okay. I find it challenging. So
because
it's like I have to.
You listening
I have
to
to start over. No, I'm not.
Oh, it's just a physical movement.
It's a mental processing.
Okay, yeah.
So that's a good way to check in to help yourself. Do you really understand the chord?
Well, even just taking any of those shapes that you just make by happenstance and just working them down.
Happenstance again?
Happenstance. That is a word.
Word of the day.
Happenstance.
Happenstance.
I don't think it's used nearly enough personally.
Personally.
So you can just take that shape and move it down. Or you can take that shape and transpose it. That's always a fun.
See, because you know what I'm doing is I'm not looking at it in the shape. I'm thinking, what chord is this? And then how do I build the chord?
Right.
Rather than, oh, I put my thumb here and this is the shape.
Well,
so that's a mental shift that might be a good one.
You can use both. You can use both. So you can put your thumb here and make an A minor 7 with a suspended, with that D, right? So thumb, so physical action, thumb, mental thing, make your minor triad.
I think that presents another really excellent point, is the anchor note of a chord.
Yeah.
So usually there's one note, one finger that if you push down, the rest of them kind of fall into place around, as you just showed with your thumb.
Right. Yeah.
So that's another great tip for
You know, it'd be interesting if there was like, think of like a parallel world where the piano was designed for like.
You're all about the parallel worlds.
I was trying to think like an octopus or something, like an octopus piano, because like this is designed. The piano is designed for 5 fingers, right?
Okay.
What if it was designed for like 8 tentacles? Totally different piano. Looks so super different. Wouldn't sell very well, but it would be cool.
Okay, I'm glad that you have these inventions. Can you reverse major and minor world?
Yes.
You can.
I will do that momentarily.
Do share with us how that is done.
Reversing the major and minor world. So let's just take that same procedure where we're, my left hand is now going to be in major world. So my left hand is in C major, and my right is in the minor. So I'm just playing around with the notes that kind of naturally work within my A minor 7 up top.
Okay.
Sounds like a little
stroll on a lovely breezy day.
Yeah, this could be really inspiring to play. Actually, hold on a minute.
Oh
yeah.
The buttons. And we digress.
Well, no, if you do have a keyboard at home, working with these kind of chords is really, really satisfying because when you layer 2 chords together, it's all about those textures, right?
Not everybody has this amazing button on their pianos.
No, but usually if you have a keyboard, you do have something that can layer. And layering a few sounds together will give you... Right? Now I'll be back in my major world.
I love it. This is why we can only unbox one Yamaha at a time.
Yeah.
It was just too much fun.
Yeah. Totally.
So we're going to chat a little bit more about the chords, but if you guys have questions.
Piano for the feet. I love it. Piano for the feet. that does bring some thoughts to mind.
Hey, Raymond.
Hey there, Raymond. Just thinking with the feet.
Do you have some thought?
Yeah, there was a guy. Well, I mean, you can trigger things with MIDI in the feet. But that'd be weird because it'd be for toes. Think about, like, my toes are not that flexible in relation to my hands, and I think my toes are actually relatively flexible in relation to other people's toes, if I'm not to brag. What? Okay. Is there any questions about this process? It really is a process more than like a discrete set of exercises or ideas. It's about essentially taking your hand shape here and then building off of the third. So just look at the piano and just think of it as a set of stacking thirds.
A major root position.
A major root position.
A major first inversion.
But
Lower
try
the half step.
Lower that half step, and now you have the ingredients for an A major 7 chord. But you also have two separate worlds happening together. You have the A major world and the C sharp minor shape in the right hand.
Okay.
You know.
So what if I only wanted to play the top half of a chord in one hand and the bottom half in the other? Can I split it up that way?
Well, that's what this is. This is the bottom half here and the top half of an A major.
Oh, because we're looking at the. But what if we wanted to do this with 3-note chords instead of 4-note chords?
Oh, okay.
How
So
would that look?
that would look like this. Oh, no, I guess it would look like this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not as pretty?
Well, there's always a role for
Maybe
it.
it's too open.
Very open. Yeah, it's. Hey, if you're feeling it, go for it.
If you're feeling it, go for it.
Yeah.
That's why you need those 4-note chords.
4-note chords are just like, this is really a way to make your 4-note chords accessible because you got two hands, and you might as well get
Have
them.
4-note chords?
Well, you might as well get them, working along with each other. Just because it can be an intimidating thing to like jump into a world where all of a sudden there's 7ths and 9ths and 11ths.
I'm still getting used to it.
Well,
Don't
me
even
too,
talk
frankly.
to me about 11ths.
Yeah, I'm not a big numbers guy myself.
Yes, you are.
Well, I like
You are so.
not arithmetic.
Oh, well,
I don't
that's
like.
fine.
I'm a calculator man.
But you're a fan of numbers.
I love numbers.
You love numbers.
I love numbers. I do.
Hi Venom.
Hey, Venom.
Thanks for hanging out with us. Ralph wants to know if you can do major world.
Okay, so let's look at that. So that's an interesting question. So here's what I would do with the major world. So I have a C major 7 here. Now I have to keep myself in the same kind of sound palette in my right hand.
So you want to find some common note themes.
So what I would do, I would try to build
I was gonna say the 5.
off the 5, because if I try to build a major chord off my 3, now we're getting into some real like experimental territory. But these notes all work together.
That's very pleasing. So G is the 5th note of the C scale. They share some things. C chord has a G.
Yeah.
G chord has a G.
Yeah, I'm basically taking these two notes here from the top of my A major 7 and
You're stealing them.
yeah, it's like when you have a those sometimes there's like a type of tree that, well, it's way trees grow sometimes, where they grow out of a pre-existing tree. That's an interesting sound you made.
I didn't mean to.
Like a tree can grow out of a pre-existing tree. So here's your like C major 7 tree, but all of a sudden there's like a little sprout of G major 7 that just kind of.
I tried to talk about it.
I think it's called a nurse tree.
Sharing DNA.
Yeah, they do. They share DNA.
That's a really great example of major world. Does it work the same for minor world?
Yes, it does. So look at that.
So you're using the 5 again.
Using the 5. Because again, this is really just a shift. We're all moving up in the same intervals, right?
It's a harmony, really.
Yeah,
You could think of it like harmony, couldn't you?
totally you can. Well, essentially I'm in G major or E minor world in the right hand, you know, E minor, or G major. And in the left hand, I'm either in A minor world or C major world. So you can kind of mix and match.
That is wild. It's blowing my mind, man. Venom, if you are looking for more longer practice lessons, you need to come check out the member site.
Yeah.
Lots of long practice lessons on there.
We got tons of long practice sessions where you can follow.
Dive into all
follow
these
us along.
concepts.
Yeah.
And members get access to us.
That's right.
So we can help you.
Yeah, we're starting to do Google Hangouts, which is really exciting.
Yeah, okay, members. Guess what? Guess what, members?
Guess what, member?
We are working on scheduling some Google Hangouts. So what that means is we want to hang out with you one-on-one. Google Hangouts.
Like it's like a Skype. It's a Skype call.
It's similar to Skype. It allows you to have more than one person. So eventually we'll probably, start to work on these in maybe more of a group setting. But for now, we would love to get to know you guys just a little bit better. Yeah. We want to help you design practice plans. We want to help you accomplish your goals and become the best piano players that you can be.
Yeah.
So
if anyone has like questions about like some like kind of longer form.
Yeah, more
like,
abstract.
Yeah, it's like or like needing help writing a song or something. Like it's all.
We really want to be here for you.
Yeah, I keep interrupting. I just always have more ideas about like how we could help out. Anyone who's looking to get into recording, like music production or something, it's always like I've written some emails to people about like, okay, now I need to like make sure you got your MIDI driver installed and da 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 da. It's like a huge headache to do over text. So if anyone wants to like dive into music production and recording, I could help you out so much more over something like a Hangout or a Skype call.
So it's in the forum. Pop into the forum. There is a post called Google Hangout with us. Yeah. All you got to do is comment in there, and we will get you scheduled in.
Yeah.
If if you're watching and you're not active in the forums, but you would like to come hang out with us, just shoot us an email and we'll set it up. This is especially, it's going to be useful for all of you, but especially as a new member, if you haven't really kind of started to dive into all of what the site has to offer, we can help you figure out exactly where you should start, exactly what you should be doing so that you can be meeting your goals.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're super stoked on it.
The one thing that I actually prefer Skype to over Google Hangouts is the sound effects when you get a call. Do you know that sound?
Do, do, do.
No, it's kind of like it's like a little bubble kind of.
What kind of Skype are you using?
No, you know what I'm talking about. It's like a little pop sound. I don't know how it works. Like you can't make it with your own voice. But I don't think the Google Hangout has that. But other than that, Google Hangouts is great.
My word.
Yeah, is there any other questions about this?
Yep, speak now or forever hold your peace, friends.
Yeah.
Well, don't. You can always email us.
Yeah, you can send us an email.
You can send us an email.
Jordan@pianote.com if you want to email me.
Lisa@pianote.com if you want to email me. Chat with us.
Yeah.
But the Hangouts are definitely a members exclusive.
Yeah, and we're rolling those out, I think, June 18th, which is coming up.
What's that?
Isn't it June 18th?
For what?
The
Hangout.
Hangout launch time.
Something like that. It's in the forum. Clement, the link for Hangouts is in the member site. So as long as you're a member, you'll be able to access that in the forum. And if you can't find it, just send me an email and I'll send you the link directly to the forum post.
Cool.
For the Hangouts, Luke, you can have it on your phone or your laptop. If you can set yourself up so that you're close to your piano, that would be ideal. I know it can be kind of tricky. Some people I have found, like, if you kind of play with it at first, if you've recorded yourself playing, you'll have an idea of how you can set yourself up. But you can use like a selfie stick or, I don't know, a table, prop it up so that we can get a view of your keyboard and you, so we can chat. That's my advice, and I'm sticking to it.
You have good advice. And now you guys can get Lisa's advice from a Google Hangout format.
Look at you.
I've got to say, I've never actually done a Google Hangout with you.
Really?
Yeah.
I hang out with people on Google all the time.
Is that true?
Yeah.
I guess I see enough of you.
No kidding. Goodness gracious. Okay, lovely music that you're playing here. So this was a really cool lesson. I actually feel like this was like getting my toes in the water, just like my big toe.
Just dip that big toe in.
And I want to know more, so...
That big toe is thirsty.
Maybe we could do a continued.
Give it a drink.
To be
Oh, totally. We will absolutely... we're going to dip the whole foot in with this stuff. Because look at, like, working with these kind of chords allows you... It'll change how you listen to the chords as well. It'll make you think about each note in the chord as being its separate... having a separate role.
Its own character.
Yeah.
We're still working on our character...
Oh yeah,
character
always got to be
definitions.
thinking about characters.
I think it'll be an illustrated novel.
I would love, I got ideas.
Maybe we could do a comic.
I have a lot of ideas in that regard.
I have no doubt in my mind, Jordan. All right, guys, this has been a blast.
Yeah, it has been.
Okay, so members, keep in mind our schedule is kind of crazy for the next month or so.
Just keep an eye on the schedule page.
Yes, definitely check that on the regular. I'm pretty sure it's all as it should be ironed out. The next lessons are up on there as in the spots that they're supposed to be. So we look forward to seeing you at the next one. Have a great week. Stay in touch and we'll see you around.